Hello friends, welcome to my series on putting together a balsa kit for the first time. I have never put a balsa kit together. I've had to do some YouTube research to figure out exactly how this is going to go. I am using a kit that does have laser cut parts. I'll be using this particular kit here, which is the Dumas laser cut flying model kit of the Staggerwing, which is model kit number 332. So this is a rubber band powered airplane. I'm giving it as a gift. I do not think it will ever be flown, so I'm not worried about that. But I'm going to go over what I've learned from watching some YouTube videos on the things that you need. We're going to go over how to prepare the surface, how to identify the parts, the tools that are needed, and everything. So if you want to see exactly how this particular process goes, because I'm a little nervous. I've never want to put one of these together, much less filmed putting one of these together. So if you want to see how that works out, you know what I recommend you do. You stick around. Nice. Nice. All right, friends. So first things first, we're going to need some actual tools to put together a balsa kit. And we'll go over the parts that come in the kit and such, but let's talk about the tools that we're going to need first. And I think I've got pretty much everything I need here just by watching some videos, so we'll see how we go. Now, first things first, you're going to need a surface to work on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this plastic table, which is kind of beat up, and 2 sheets of styrofoam poster board, $1 a sheet. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them long ways, and then from there I'll tape them together and then put the actual building instructions and the diagram and all that on top. The reason that you want to have something like this or cork board or something like that is because you're going to need to use pins to put into the model or to hold the model in place as you're building the kit. So for that, you're going to need some pins. So I went ahead and picked some up at Walmart. They're like $4 for 360 little pins, little seam strips type pins. Perfect. That's all you need just to hold stuff in place. So I have those. However, you know, obviously when you're pinning stuff in place, you're going to need to use some glue. So I also have some glue that I picked up at the hobby store. And from watching some of the videos, I also picked up a bottle that has a really neat needle tip on it. It was like $4 because this tip is pretty fine, but this one will really help you get into those tight grooves. So I got that as well. But with the glue, obviously you can't glue stuff straight onto the paper or anything like that. So when you put your plans down and tape those down to your surface, then you'll want to cover those plans with wax paper. And that way, when you're gluing stuff and it drips down past the model, you won't have to worry about peeling it off the paper. Now, with wax paper, it is not waxy on both sides. It's only waxy on one side. How do you figure out which side it is? You use your fingernail. And if you can scratch it, that's the wax side. If you can't scratch it, or if no wax comes off, it's the other side. This may be double-sided. Yeah, this is double-sided wax paper, so that's why you're able to scratch it. But that's how you tell in case for some reason you didn't buy the double-sided stuff. But yeah, that's how that works. And you can actually feel a little bit of a waxy surface. But like I said, this one seems to have it on both sides. So you should be safe either way, but I'll go with the one that might feel a little slick, which is this one on top maybe. So, all right, so that's the plan. So we'll put that down, do that. From there, you're also going to need to cut your parts out. Now what I did is I got this kit, which is a kit I picked up at Northern Tool and Supply. This thing is pretty sweet. It has not only knives and extra blades and things, but it also comes with a screwdriver and also comes with some forceps and tweezers kind of things so that you can really, or not forceps, but a couple of different types of tweezers there. So this particular kit at Northern Tool and Supply was $7 as opposed to $25 for just a couple of knives at the hobby store. So I'm going to be using this because you'll need something to cut your parts out with. And then I also have some tape over here off to the side. I'm going to use the old famous paper tape to go ahead and tape these things together, tape the plans down maybe, and then from there also take the wax paper down because that should hold pretty good. And then I have this regular, yellow frog type tape for in case I need it for something else. And then also just in case, depending on how that glue thing goes, because I've never really worked with anything other than hot glue, I have of course, some nitrile gloves to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get this stuff together and get this surface prepared, and then going to go ahead and get this model together. Also, I also have myself a set here of some flip down Dealy Majogs. Do not have the light in there, but that's okay. But anyway, so I also have these two. So if you guys don't have those, I think I also get these in Northern Tool and Supply. I think it's the same thing. Yeah, Irontron, or Ironton, or whatever. Ironton. That's it. Ironton brand from. Not that I'm sponsoring them or anything, or they're sponsoring me, but there goes that. So nonetheless, let's go ahead and get this surface together, and let's get this model going. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 sheets of styrofoam board together. I'm going to go ahead and use this paper tape that you get in the medical supply area, wherever you buy Band-Aids or whatever, Wally World or wherever you might get them. This stuff works pretty good. It's sticky, but not too sticky. It'll do the job. All right. Just kind of put this together. Nothing super fancy here. All right. And that's close enough. All righty. And do a little wrap around. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that should hold the board together. Now the next thing to do is to get the plans on the board. Now, I slid the plans off on the floor, so bear with me as I just use this to pick them back up. Slide it under the paper. Slide the plans right on the board. All right. And buzzing. Here we go. Okay. All right, so I need to get rid of all these parts, or at least move them off to the side. So let's do that. Push them off the board. Here's the couple of busted pieces that came from this kit. What I got is a second-hand kit. So let's just move all this stuff off to the side. And we'll go back over part identification and all that here shortly. So sit that there. Here. And then I already have the stringers set aside from the ribs. We'll talk about that stuff too. All right. Basically just need to clear this surface. All right, so let's go ahead and center the plans, or at least get them into the workable area. That should be good. Go ahead and use some more paper tape. The reason I'm using the paper tape again is just because this stuff is so cheap. The yellow painter's tape is not. And you really just need to do, corners. Nothing crazy, just need to hold it in place. It will move with the board, so you don't have to really worry about nailing the board down or anything. Okay, that looks pretty level. All right. And then we'll do the old smooth it out. All right. Smooth it out. All right. All right. There we go. Now, wax paper time. So here, now you'll work on this in pieces. So you got fuselages here, which will probably be the first thing we'll work on, and then you have the top and bottoms and all of that, and then you have the wing construction and all. So on the other set of plans, so right now we'll work with this part, but I'm thinking what I'm going to do is, since I want to set everything out, I'm going to go ahead and wax paper everything. So we'll just do a nice long sheet of the wax paper here. All right. All right. A little bit of an overlap there. Okay. So now with that, let's see. All right, maybe a good idea to put that on the edge actually. Bear with me a second. Gonna break out the old knife set real quick. Come on out of there now. No guard on that. Okay. Set that off to the side. And just do the old. Let's see. All right. Same thing over here. Just enough so it'll be exposed to the styrofoam board. All right. There we go. That way I can tape it straight to the board. Now, another thing about this paper tape is it should work pretty good on this wax paper. We'll find out. All right, I got the whole thing covered. Let's go ahead and do these sides first. All right. All right. I definitely know I have the wax paper thicker part up because it feels like a candle. All right. This should be plenty, but we'll go ahead and do this as well. And we'll do this. All right. All right, friends. So there we go. We got a prepped surface. Now from there, we'll go ahead and get into some parts identification. Stick around. All right, friends. So here we go. I've got the box all emptied out. And as you can see, there's a lot going on here. It is a little daunting, to be honest with you. There's a lot going on. However, the neat thing about the Dumas kits is that they do come with the required paperwork necessary to see exactly what it is you got in this box. So this is the material list. It does talk about that you have the plans. It does talk about pretty much everything you have. It does give you sizes, quantities, and things like your stringers and your ribs. Those actually just say bundle, not actual quantity. But when it starts talking about your other pieces, it does have quantity. If you happen to have yourself a micrometer, that you can actually measure these pieces to be accurate to which ones you're getting, that would be helpful. They sell those also at Northern Tool and Supply for like $1 or something in the bins, but nonetheless, you don't need a fancy one. Plastic's fine, or you can basically guess because it does have you basically numbered, and the parts are pretty easy to figure out. These kind of get a little mixed up with some, but you'll figure it out because these are super thin. Now, I've never worked with balsa before, but these things are super thin. So basically, the idea I put forth is that you basically just hold these pieces as if you're holding a live bird. You don't want to kill it, but you don't want to let it go. So, be real careful with that kind of stuff. But it does talk about everything. So I'm just going to kind of go over what we're looking at here. Again, one of the neat things about the Dumas kits with the laser cut is that you do have parts that are labeled. So I do have the 32A, B, C, 2 C's, 2 D's, E, and F. Like I did talk about, these parts are all labeled as well. Here's the wing plans that I talked about earlier. So we'll have to do the exact same process with the wing plans when it comes time to that. That we've done with these, but we'll worry about the fuselage first. I do have a decal sheet, which is a vinyl decal sheet, which you would have to cut out yourself. They are not pre-cut, but they are definitely vinyl, not water slide. So that's kind of cool. This particular plane also has clear windshield. So you will get yourself a piece of plastic, and then of course the template that you use to cut out the windshield underneath there. This is a tissue wrapped plane, so it has the tissue that it comes with, and from what I can tell, this is no different than the stuff you would wrap your Christmas presents with. So it is very thin and fragile, so you want to be careful. However, knowing that this is something you could probably pick up at the card store or something, if you had to get a replacement, obviously that's something a bonus. You have the nose cowl here for the prop. This would be something that you'll glue the wood pieces into, and then trim out the outside ring so that you can use this ring for stability while you do that. So don't cut that out first. Then, of course, you got your parts bag, which has your propeller in it, and your rubber band. Has 4 pieces of wheel in there because you have to glue the wheels together, 2 halves. So that's exciting. What is also exciting, I've never had to do before, is this is the metal gearing and the axle and the struts and all that you need for the landing gears. So we'll have to actually bend that. So I think I do have a bending tool, so that might come in handy. I'll have to look for that, but I think I do have one somewhere. If not, we'll just use our hands and other blocks of wood to do some bending with, but it should be fine. And all of that is laid out on the plans as well. So that's kind of the overview of all the parts that we've got. I've got a couple extra little scrap pieces, like I said, that got this second hand. So we'll work with gluing those pieces together. But I think at this point, this is kind of a good overview to kind of give you an idea of, oh my gosh, this is something I can handle, or oh my gosh, it's something I can't handle. I'm on the fence with that, but at this point, I think we should be able to get this done. Again, it is a Dumas laser cut kit. It's one of the better kits out there, so it certainly gives you a great chance for a good start. As long as I follow the instructions, which I think is going to be the main thing. I know most of us that are watching this video are guys, and we think instructions are for somebody else's problem, basically. But it is important that you read the instructions. It does talk about not only the parts that you need, it talks about the actual panels themselves and which parts those go to. And then when you get into the actual instructions, which I'm not going to read here during the video, but it does start with the fuselage, which is why we're going to start with the fuselage first. And then it does, of course, you just start at number 1 and read your way down, and we'll go ahead and start cutting out those parts. The next part of the video series that I'm going to put out here is going to be the actual me cutting out the parts, laying some of that stuff down. A lot of that's going to be repetitive and boring, so as a viewer, I know I don't want to necessarily watch that, so I will probably speed a lot of that up and maybe put some edits in there for some of the other stuff that just seems monotonous and I don't think is necessary for the video. If I'm feeling that you're getting the point, I'm going to pretty much just trim that out and make the next part of this series a little bit quicker. But we will definitely get into talking about listening to and regular motion once I start laying stuff down, pinning it together. So there will be some good cuts in there for that as well, so you can hear my commentary about whether this is driving me crazy or not. But at this point, I think we're at a good stopping point for this first video. And let me know what you think. If you like this particular content, you want to see more of it, you want to see part 2, which I'm currently working on, please give this video a thumbs up and a like. Let me know in the comments. And let me know how you think this is going to come out. Is it going to come out looking like the box? Or is it going to come out looking like the pictures at the front of the video? We will see when it's all said and done. But until next time, I am Dave. This is the Dumas Staggerwing Model Kit 332, which is a rubber band powered flying model kit with precision laser cut parts. And until next time, we are out of here.